Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a public planning meeting this afternoon. I want to welcome everybody, and we are going to start with our land acknowledgement, and I'm going to call on Councillor Bartley to read it for us.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we are meeting on the traditional lands and treaty territory of the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, which includes the Chippewas of Nawash Unceded First Nation and the Chippewas of Saugeen First Nation. We also recognize the Métis whose ancestors shared this land and these waters. We extend our gratitude to the Anishinaabe and the Métis people and their descendants, past, present, and future, who continue to care for and inhabit these lands and tend these waters.
Thank you, Councillor. And now I'll just invite everyone to join us in a moment of silent reflection on our business today. Thank you. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, just a reminder, if it occurs to you, to bring it forward. And we'll get the meeting started. This meeting is to learn about a proposal to amend the land use planning permissions applying to certain lands in the municipality of Meaford. Council is legally required to make decisions that conform to the county and local official plans. Our policies encourage us to reach out to community stakeholders to gather information. We have a variety of legal tools available to us that we can apply to development that will help us manage change in a positive manner with as minimal an impact as possible. And your insights can be part of what informs our direction. Those in attendance for today's meetings will have an opportunity to speak in person or remotely if pre-registered through Zoom. This meeting is not structured as a dialogue between speakers and the applicant. However, the applicant may take the opportunity to respond to comments toward the end of our meeting if they wish. Note that in many cases, formulating responses may require that staff carry out research after the meeting on the matters raised and provide answers following the meeting or through their report to Council. So I will now call this public meeting to order. It's a public meeting to consider a zoning bylaw amendment for lands at 278 Cook Street in Meaford. This meeting is a mandatory part of the planning process, which has been set out by the Planning Act. Based on the rules in the Act, there must be at least 20 days' notice given to residents within 120 meters of the property. Notice of the zoning bylaw amendment was issued on May the 13th, 2025, giving the required 20 days notice. So we'll get started, and at this time I'm going to call upon Helena Fascinato, planner at the municipality of Meaford, to give us a brief presentation about this application and to provide us with any public and agency comments that have been received to date. Helena, are you there?
Hi there, can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Perfect, thank you, and apologies for joining virtually today. I have quite the head cold, so sorry in advance for any coughing or sneezing you might hear. Okay. So this is a meeting for zoning bylaw amendment file Z02-2025. And next slide, please, Sue. So the purpose of this public meeting is to hear a presentation from planning staff with some of the details about the subject lands in the planning application and to provide a forum for the public to comment on this proposal. Next slide, please. So the subject lands are located at 278 Cook Street, Meaford. They were the site of the former Amrock Limited factory. Sections of the building have been rented out to smaller scale industrial and commercial businesses, and it has become established as a business mall type of use. And surrounding land uses include primarily residential and institutional uses. Next slide, please. So this proposal. The current zoning of the property restricts the permitted uses to those that were existing on September 21st, 2009. The property owners would like to modify the zoning to allow more flexibility for uses on the property. The proposed zoning would permit a mix of commercial and light industrial type uses on the property to facilitate a mixed-use redevelopment that's compatible with the neighborhood. Next slide, please. So to get into the policies, so the county official plan designates the lands as primary settlement area. The primary settlement areas are the focus of the majority of growth within the county. The primary settlement area promotes a full range of land uses, including commercial and industrial uses. Next slide, please. So the Meaford official plan designation of the lands is Special Policy Area 3. Given the existing large building and proximity of the site to the downtown core, the site is well positioned for redevelopment. This redevelopment shall consider a mix of uses, including community and institutional uses, as well as commercial and retail uses. The policies acknowledge the existing residential uses of the area. The policies outline that the establishment of new or redevelopment on the property is subject to a zoning bylaw amendment. Next slide, please. So the current zoning on the subject lands is very restrictive to just existing uses as of September 21st, 2009. Next slide, please. And so these are just some examples of new uses proposed. And this is pulled from our other commercial and industrial zones within the municipality. So some of the uses include business office, commercial fitness center, daycare, industrial uses, retail store, etc. And next slide, please. Okay, so where we are at in the application process. So we're currently at the public meeting stage, and we welcome all questions and comments from council and from members of the community. And then we will take those back. Staff will complete the review and present a recommendation report to council. And next slide, please. So here's how to engage in the process. So residents can sign up to receive updates on this proposal on our website, submit comments to our general email at planning@meaford.ca, or you can make a request in writing to planning@meaford.ca. So that concludes the presentation. And for comments received, so we did receive comments from Gray Sobel, Enbridge Gas, and the Historic Saugeen Métis, who noted no concerns. Comments were received from the county, who noted that they are generally supportive of the proposal, provided that the uses do not negatively impact the surrounding residential and institutional uses. And two comments, excuse me, two comments have been received from members of the public. One comment questioned the type of uses and how parking will work on site. And the other comment stated an objection to any residential uses on site. So that's all the comments received, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay. I think that we maybe should invite the proponent to speak at this point, and there will be an opportunity for questions after. Or Helena, do we have an opportunity to ask some questions at this point, or I'm just not quite clear on the procedure.
Yeah, if the applicant would like to come up at this point, that'd be great.
Okay, very good then. So if you'll just give us your name when you start your presentation, that would be great for the record.
Shannon Curry, is this a good volume?
Yes.
Okay, this is a little unnerving. Good afternoon, Mayor Kentner, Honorable Deputy Mayor Shirley Keaveney, and each of our esteemed councillors. I would like to take 5, well, realistically 6 minutes, of your time to give a brief history, our current building status, and share why we are applying for a zoning bylaw amendment after all these years of ownership. In 1999, our parents purchased what many still call the old Amarok building to have a larger facility to expand their growing Scott clay products manufacturing business. Unfortunately, in the early 1980s, Amarok closed up their Canadian business and returned to the US, leaving over 400 individuals unemployed and decimating the economy and the economic and employment landscape of Meaford for many years to come. Our parents spent a year investing in a major building overhaul, and then they grew Scott Clay Products to a good-sized business, shipping all over North America while staying local to Meaford. To help keep the doors open throughout, they have had other tenants through the building with a 26-year history of light industrial, warehouse, offices, and retail businesses, all serving and employing Meafordites throughout their tenure. In 2020, during COVID, a long-standing tenant, the MFO, retired, and we've been filling that space with a new mix of tenants as an industrial mall with multiple units for commercial and industrial business and retail uses since that time. At that time, Terry and Maureen started the passing of the torch to my brother Craig and I. We co-managed the building on behalf of our family. We've rebranded the building as the SCP Center, named for Scott Clay Products, or SCP. We've spent the last 5 years refurbishing the SCP Center inside and out. Some of our major capital improvements include a new roof membrane, LED lighting, new shipping doors, updated bathrooms, painting inside and out, updated signage, and a new heating system in 2024. We've been working at revitalizing the office building, and we will be opening a co-working space this fall. It's a membership-based, shared work environment for small businesses to work in a professional environment with a great boardroom and offices and grow their local Meaford businesses in our community. The SCP Center is approximately 160,000 square feet with an adjacent 14,400 square foot office building. It's uniquely located in the center of Meaford, well enough away from the Main Street downtown section to not affect the Sykes Street retail community, but close enough to be one street away from Highway 26. The possibilities for growth, employment, and potential new businesses to service our community in a centrally based location with tons of parking is an exciting prospect for Meaford and for its residents and for our family. Enough building history. Why are we here today? Throughout our ownership, the zoning of the SCP Center has remained the same. We have a special zoning policy 3, which restricts the permitted uses to those that were existing on September 21st, 2009 only. This reduces the clarity of what is permitted and creates a challenge for growing businesses in the town, prospective tenants, and for ourselves. It means we are limited to industrial, warehouse, office, and retail uses, but there is so much more. The zoning bylaw we are applying for today would apply to the whole property. We're not proposing any building changes. We would just like to modify the existing zoning to allow for more flexibility for users on the property. Meaford's official 5-year plan, which was adopted in 2024, has 4 special zoning areas, of which we are policy number 3. For almost a year, we have been working collaboratively with the planning department to understand the town's vision, to get a clear definition of what is permitted, and get guidance on how best to make flexible changes to the site so that we can expand the types of businesses at the SCP Center. We are excited and we are encouraged by the growing opportunities in Meaford. We have shared objectives with the town to support a thriving downtown by making positive change within our building site that provides employment and creative spaces where different businesses can grow, serve our community, and thrive. To that end, we have invited numerous town councillors, many of you here today, the mayor, the deputy mayor, the fire chief, and several members of the town to our space in the past 2 years to see all of our capital investments. Last June, we hosted the Meaford Chamber of Commerce with 40 local business owners. We've had really positive feedback and genuine excitement at the capital refurbishment improvements on what we are trying to achieve and the unique potential for the SCP Center within Meaford. To be clear, we do not have any intentions to redevelop the area. We plan to maintain it as a mixed-use zone, as it is, and as it has been for the past 30 years. There are many unique opportunities for businesses at the SCP Centre that would benefit our nearby residential and business community. And we would just like the flexibility to expand from our current uses to more flexible zoning for the whole area. Hence, we are officially requesting to rezone the subject lands to permit more varied current and future potential uses of the building. In closing, the pillars of the municipality of Meaford refer to its 4 key strategic priorities. You will all be familiar with these. 1, ensuring sustainability. 2, investing in infrastructure. 3, growing our economy. And 4, strengthening our community. Bottom line, this bylaw zoning amendment will help to further develop the SCP Centre into a thriving, mixed-use building that perfectly serves the 3rd and 4th strategic pillars of growing Meaford's economy and strengthening the community that we, the Scott family, are fully invested in. Alternatively, maintaining the status quo will limit our growth opportunities, thus limiting potential economic enhancements, developments, and options for the town and for ourselves as business owners. We therefore kindly ask that Council approves the requested bylaw amendment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We do have one pre-registrant wishing to speak, Carol Ann Kresge, and I believe she's virtual, or
Should I sit down?
Biden?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, by all means, thanks. Maybe Susan, do you know if she is? Oh, okay, all right. Let's go ahead then. Carol Ann, can you hear us? Let us know we can hear you. Yeah, Carol Ann, can you hear us?
She's muted at her end.
Oh, Carol Ann, you're muted at your end, so can you relieve that and we'll be able to hear your presentation? It doesn't appear that we're going to hear from her tonight. Okay, if this gets resolved before we adjourn, why we'll come back to her. I'm going to go to council now and ask for your questions or comments. Councillor Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In our package on page 8 and on page 10, it shows an outline of the property, basically the old Amrock building, but on page 12 of our package, there's a big blue area which goes on to, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 different lots. So when we're changing this, are we changing what is laid out in the blue? Page 12 of our package 15.
This will be a question for Helena, right?
Hi
So
there, yes, thank you. So is that the page with the zoning map shown on it with the zoning in blue?
It's page 12.
Page 12. But yeah, just to answer the question, this would only apply to the property at 278 Cook Street, not to the other properties that also share that blue zoning. It would just apply to the Amrock property.
Helena, is there a reason that it's outlined in blue? It's outlined in red in the other illustrations. Okay. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Shannon, I just wanted to say excellent presentation. You did a great job. And I wanted to ask Shannon a question, if I may, if you'd be okay to go back up to the mic.
Of course.
Thanks, Shannon. We see quite a long list on page 8 of 10 of potential new uses that may be proposed, but you mentioned office space, and I just wondered if I could ask you to expand on that a little bit more to share with council. You mentioned bringing in offices and it would be a co-op type situation. And I'm just curious to know, because I'm always thinking of spaces for doctors, whether you had something of that nature in mind or whether you're looking for more private type office leases, if I may ask you to just expand on that a little bit.
Of course. Obviously, we've always had the office space, so that isn't necessarily something we need to ask to change zoning on, but there is specific zoning for things like medical offices. So my understanding is we would be limited on that. We've been approached over the years by many different businesses, and we need medical in this county and in this town of ours. So we'd be very open to having medical offices in there, but we need to have the zoning cart before the horse. So if we get this zoning bylaw, I'll be asking for another meeting with some of you to see if anybody has any ideas to maybe work in partnership to go out and try to find those potential individuals, medical professionals to come into our building. It would be a fantastic use for it. There's tons of parking. It's in the middle of residential. It doesn't impede with downtown. Our downtown has a lot of medical. If we could get medical maybe into our building and have retail downtown. I mean, we've got lots of ideas and we've been approached by lots of people. We also have a relationship with someone who works at the hospital who has made some great suggestions to us. So yeah, absolutely. Deputy Mayor Keaveney, we would be very interested in bringing medical to the building.
Councillor Yurick and then Councillor Greenfield.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Shannon, and the whole Scott family, because it's a quite an enterprise. It's not a small undertaking, I'm sure, to manage a building that size and try and populate it. In addition to the medical, interestingly, on there, it also talks about day nursery, potential daycare. It's another one that really jumps off the page, and we've heard many times how there's a real dearth of that in not just Meaford, but everywhere. And that's another one I would think that if that could somehow come forward, because it's another component to the whole housing challenges we have as well. So that's another one that, yeah, if this came to fruition, then I would hope that that's something else that we could kind of have conversations with potential businesses that might be interested in that. But thank you.
We actually have been approached by a daycare. And I agree with you. It's there's 2 or 3 things we really need in our community. We need recreational, we need medical offices, we need daycare facilities, we need professional offices for people to grow businesses and stay in the community. And with all the housing developments that are coming to Meaford, we're going to need places for employment for those businesses. So I agree with you. I think that's a big need.
Councillor Greenfield.
Thank you, Your Worship. And yeah, just briefly to follow up on the square meters. I'm wondering, the office part in itself of the building, which is 2 stories.
That's correct. Yes.
Do you know approximately what the square footage or square meters, what the numbers are in the office section? I assume it's a small fraction, but do you have that number?
I absolutely do. I know all the square footage of all the areas. The total building is 174,000 square feet. The industrial warehouse retail space is 160,000 square feet. The office is 14,400 square feet specifically. It's a traditional 1980s sort of side split. There is 4,500 square feet on each of the floors. And then the single floor where you come into on the main entrance is about 3,500 square feet. That's the area that we're going to be opening the co-working space this fall. And then the other 2 areas would be available for medical offices, daycare, professional offices, first come, first serve. So that's the goal.
Councillor Bartley?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That answer sounded like the Dragon's Den, so I'd like to make you an offer.
I'll take it.
I was shocked how you're handcuffed with what you can do in that building. I didn't realize that. This is a pretty straightforward ask. I have no issues with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we don't actually get to vote on this tonight. We have to wait for a report from staff. But
understand.
I think you get the message that we're all pleased to see the the initiative.
Thank you.
Sue, you have some news there?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to let you know, we do have one other person on the line.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure if you knew that.
Is that Carol Ann Krusky?
No, it's Scott.
Scott?
Me.
Okay.
Oh.
He's with us.
Yeah, that's my brother who co-manages the building with me in case there were any questions that I couldn't answer or fainted on the podium.
So he doesn't need to speak then? Is that what you're saying? Or he would like to speak? We can accommodate him? Did you say it was Scott?
It's Craig Scott, my brother.
Craig
and
Scott, sorry.
Just in case he needed to
Yeah.
answer anything, I don't think he has anything specific to answer.
Okay, and can we try one more time? Ms. Krusky does not appear to be able. Pardon? Okay, well, we've done our best to get her on, and I believe she would still be able to submit her comments. So I will. We've exhausted our questions or comments on council, in which case I'm going to just thank everyone for attending this meeting and sharing your thoughts on this application. This matter will now be referred back to Development Services to follow up on any additional information required from the applicant based on the matters raised today. And once staff are satisfied that they have all necessary information needed to provide a recommendation on the application, a detailed planning report will be brought back to council to assist us in our decision-making. This report will evaluate how the proposal does or does not satisfy the provincial, county, and municipal policies that must be considered as part of council's decision. It will also explore the various public and agency comments received regarding the application, noting those tools which may be applied in order to address concerns raised and to mitigate potential impacts on nearby properties. If you would like to receive notice of a future decision on this file, please provide your contact information to the Planning Services Division by email at planning@meaford.ca. That's planning@meaford.ca. And that concludes our meeting this afternoon. And sorry, does someone else wish to address us?
Yes.
Okay, I thought I called on people to, but please take the podium and give us your name.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Heather McGee. I'm here this evening to express my full support for the proposed zoning amendment for this highly versatile 7-acre property known as 278 Cook Street, as I firmly believe it will bring lasting benefits to our entire community. The current zoning is outdated and vague, referencing permitted uses from 2009. While it loosely includes a mix of light industrial and commercial uses, such as retail, there's no formal or comprehensive list of the actual permitted uses. So this lack of clarity hinders development opportunities and deters potential tenants who are unsure if their business would be allowed. Updating this zoning to clearly define permitted light industrial and commercial uses is a practical and much needed step forward. Meaford's community is growing, and with that growth comes the need for more diverse services that this centrally located spacious property can accommodate. A full-size gym, daycare, medical offices, co-working spaces, and local manufacturing or light industrial businesses are just a few examples of uses that could thrive here and serve our residents. The building's size and location offer unique opportunities not available anywhere else in the town of Meaford. The units are substantially larger and more versatile, and the property is within walking distance for many residents. Its development will not compete with the downtown core, but rather complement it by providing services that currently lack appropriate space or are otherwise unfeasible in the downtown core. Neighboring municipalities like Collingwood and Owen Sound already allow gyms, daycares, and similar services in industrial spaces. Recognizing that old warehouses, industrial buildings are perfectly suited for these types of businesses. Meaford's current M1 and C1 zoning bylaws should be updated to reflect these same permitted uses so our community can benefit in the same way and better support local entrepreneurs, families, and essential services. This property has incredible potential to be a major asset to the town, and I believe this amendment will help unlock that potential. I wholeheartedly support this zoning bylaw amendment and urge council to approve it in the best interests of our growing community. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. And with that, I believe we've completed our agenda, and I'm going to declare this meeting closed.